We still have 2 drivers yet to set a time. That is Big Mr. Brown and Easy Breeze. As we see Sprightly going very far off. Keep it on board here with Marlon Conga. See what type of lap time he can set here on the mediums, and he decides not to. He'll be diving into the pits. We will take it on board with his teammate of Money Hustard and the other Racing Point, as he's actually on his outlap. And just now starting his lap on the mediums. Absolutely flying right now in his lap. Keeping it very clean through sector 1. Getting a decent exit out of turn number 7, I believe. And there you have it. 2.5 tenths up on his lap. Money Hustard may be able to promote himself into P2 if he can improve just a little bit here through turns 13 and 14, the final chicane of the lap. And he does. That is P2 for Money Hustard with a 109.2. Very well done by the Racing Point driver, as we'll stick it on board now with DGM. Don't get mad in the Haas, rocking the beautiful Halloween pumpkin for a helmet. Maybe he's out there to scare some of the drivers off the circuit. Catching a lot of the curb right there. Very well done by DGM, as he'll set a not existing lap. That must have been invalidated, even though our map did not show us. And Ronan has thrown himself off circuit, as not what you want to see from the Red Bull driver. We'll take down the rest of our grid, as that is rain. It is now starting to rain here with just 4 minutes left in quali, and it's gonna really hurt McLaren here, Big Mr. Brown, who is yet to set a lap. This is going to affect his lap time. Not massively, but it's definitely going to hinder it. The rain's not coming down really too hard at all, but very light rain, and that will affect his lap and his tires, but we'll see what he can set here, as he is going pretty slow right now on this lap. Taking it very carefully through the chicane, not sitting in the wall of champions. And Big Mr. Brown will go P15 with a 111.4. That is very unfortunate for him, but here comes his teammate of Indian Cyclone, who has opted to dive into the pits. Oh, and that's going to be a big corner cut by White Meat, and most likely invalidating his lap. So that is unfortunate for him. But here is the Racing Point of Marlon Conga, currently half a second up on his lap, squeezing by the wall of champions and crossing the line in P11 with a 110.2 on the mediums, and also missing a piece of his end plate. Tazonic has now spent 5 laps on his mediums. Those are definitely not going to start the race on those whatsoever, as we will take it back down to Big Mr. Brown, who may be on another lap, but 3 laps in on those mediums, I don't think he's going to want to improve at all, and he does not. He will take it right into the pits. As DGM as well is hopping the pits. Looks like most of our drivers are going to send it into the pits here or the end of qualifying. Still 2 minutes remaining, but don't see much improvement happening as George 1997 has retired. Ronan sent it into the wall, completely destroying his lap. However, Stoneman 1372 is looking to set another lap for whatever reason. Marlin diving it down into the pits. Sprightly, however, going very slow on his lap. Looks like he invalidated off that final turn. Or he's definitely backing out of this lap. That may very well be the end of qualifying. I don't think anyone's going to improve on their times. Ronan is... Oh, Max Fossitas, what happened to you? He's just planted on track. George the Fraud is now retired. So, presumably most of our drivers will be retiring. Ronan cannot seem to get the hairpin right with his wing damage. So, that looks like that will be Indian Cyclone in P1 with a 108.9. The only driver to hit in the 108s here tonight. Money Hustard with a 109.2, followed by TRC Platinum with a 109.4, just barely beating out the Red Bull driver in P4 of LDR Redeemer. However, Money Hustard and TRC Platinum both starting on the medium tires, whereas Indian Cyclone did qualify on the softs. So, varying different strategies there for these guys. Tazonic looks to be the only other medium runner to start in the top 10 with 5 laps in on his medium, so that is definitely going to hinder his race strategy tonight. And that is the end of qualifying, as we will just wait for all the drivers to enter their pit boxes. I believe, yes, all we have left now is Sprightly, as he takes it very leisurely around and he retires. Very smart idea from you, Sprightly, so we can get the race going. It will be a clear race tonight. Nice sunny skies, and we will not see any rain like we just did here at the end of qualifying. But there you have it. Indian Cyclone, Money Hustler, TRC Platinum 1, 2, and 3, followed by LDR Redeemer, White Mike, 2 for 2 White Meat, Stoneman, Don't Get Mad, Ronan, and Tazonic rounding off the top 10. And behind them, Easy Breeze in 11th, Marlon Conga in 12th, followed by McFossitas in 13th, George the Fraud and George, both Williams drivers, not having a very strong qualifying at all, sitting 14th and 15th. And then we have Big Mr. Brown and Sprightly rounding off the back of the grid, as we now wait for the rest of our drivers to load in. We can get the formation lap going and get the start of this 34 lap race. 5, 6. I may have just forgot how many laps, but there you have it. Look at it. No rain in sight. Hopefully Cody's doesn't shove any of that out here tonight. We saw lots of VSCs in our PC Division 1 race last night. The incident reports were filled up with complaints. So hopefully we can see a little bit more clean driving here tonight in Xbox Division 2 as well as Xbox Division 1 very shortly after at 9 p.m. Eastern. So make sure to go check out those guys after this race. And as we wait for everyone to load in for the formation lap, I will take a quick 1-minute break and I will be right back with you guys. Again, thanks for joining us here on YouTube and watching the stream. If you like what you're seeing, send a like. If you want to see more, subscribe, and it will be greatly appreciated. So as per usual, my 1 minute break was definitely longer than 1 minute. But here we go. Rest of our drivers getting around turn 13 and 14, rounding off the grid here as we should start the race in under 30 seconds. Go ahead, tell me in the chat, who do you think is going to win and what the over-under is on safety cars of VSCs tonight. I'm going with 1.5 for the over-under for all of you betting folks out there. But here we go. Get a good camera angle for you. We'll stick it on board with Redeemer. 3, 4, 5 lights. And away we go here for the PC Division, Xbox Division 2 race, as I already butchered the start. LDR Redeemer getting a horrible start. Already seeing front wings flying. The Mercedes of White Meat just completely obliterating into the side pod of White Mike. And it looks like Red Bull drivers now right next to each other. Everyone seemingly getting it right through turn 3 and 4. However, Easy Breeze definitely cut the corner a lot. Pulled his own little Sebastian Vettel, but Indian Cyclone is still sitting on top in P1 as we see Ronan getting by Stoneman there. And now the other Red Bull of LDR Redeemer, and even Don't Get Mad might take a peek. He does, but no room for him. So Stoneman has now fallen back 2 spots. We'll take it on board here with White Meat, who's staring down the gearbox of the Alfa Romeo driver of TRC Platinum. Please forgive me for completely forgetting how to speak proper English. As they roundabout the final chicane here and complete lap 1. As the Mercedes of Tazonic got very close to the wall. But pretty clean start by most of our drivers. No one hopping into the pits, so no significant damage done there on lap 1. You love to see it. Unfortunately for Stoneman and the Ferrari, who are the only team yet to pick up a point tonight, he is already falling very far back on the grid order. He's already lost 3 places after 1 lap, and Easy Breeze is looking to make that 4. LDR Redeemer now sits right behind his teammate of Ronan. See if we get any team orders between these guys. As Redeemer getting a horrible exit out of the hairpin, allowing Don't Get Mad to get a nice little slipstream run off. And very smartly done by Redeemer, just fits himself in. The place was already lost. And that will now put Redeemer into 8th and Don't Get Mad into 7th. Looks like Easy Breeze as well got the move done on Stoneman, so he's now sitting P10 in the Ferrari. Looks like he is struggling quite a bit right now, as he also taps the wall just a little bit there and outbraking himself. So not a very clean day at the office as Tazonic gets around Big Mr. Brown. Big Mr. Brown looking down the inside here, going into turn number 7. As Cuddy gives us a horrible camera angle. As what has happened to Tazonic? He has fallen back massively now. He must have gone off. And he's got a little bit of wing damage, so he definitely had something go on. We'll take it on board with his teammate now of 2 for 2 White Meat, as the top 4 are still very close together. So really no one clearing out any clear pace advantage here in the top 4. Any Cyclone softs are definitely going to start wearing off as the medium drivers of Money Hustard and TRC Platinum are definitely going to be on the front foot, at least through the first stint of the race. Canada is one of the only tracks where you can definitely two-stop, where the preferred two-stop is actually faster than doing a one-stop. One of the only tracks on the game where that is the case. So Money Hustard and Platinum, I would assume, are going mediums to softs, or either medium softs to mediums. And Indian Cyclone will definitely be doing 2 on the mediums, unless he opts to go for the hards. However, I do not recommend it here at Canada unless you have picked up a bit of wing damage. But Ronan now on the back of the sister team driver, formerly known as Toro Rosso, now AlphaTauri for this new F1 season, but still driving the F1 2019 car. So that is the Toro Rosso of White Mike. That has now dropped down to 6th place. Looks like Money Hustard is starting to gain quite a bit now on Indian Cyclone as LDR Redeemer picks up our first time penalty of the day. What an achievement to have, as Stoneman is quickly thereafter picking up his own time penalty. And look at that, Money Hustard has a helmet that matches his car livery. You don't see that all the time, as Redeemer has retired from the session and we have a safety car. Let's see if we can pick up Redeemer. He was actually, looks like he just shunts himself off at turn, I believe it was turn 8. He just sent it flying in the wall. So that is already one safety car here tonight. And we are only 5 laps in. Looks like Indian Cyclone is going to barrel his way down the pits. See what tires he puts on. That promotes Platinum into P1. Money Hustard as well into the pits. White Meat, we have Easy Breeze staying out. Ronan in. Don't Get Mad is in. Stoneman, George the Fraud, Marlon Conga also in the pits. George into the pits. Big Mr. Brown, Sprightly. See if Tazonic decides to. Doesn't look like he will. He already pitted. So this might help out Tazonic quite a bit, who had a very rough first 5 laps of this Grand Prix. But half of our grid staying out and half of our grid opting to box early here in the race. So it is really going to be all up for grabs, as look at that, White Mike once again back in podium positions. We saw him completely squander away a podium finish last week at Monaco after he had a very interesting strategy call with about 8 laps to go in the race that dropped him about 5 or 6 positions. But it's very nice to see the Toro Rosso driver now in P2, followed by Easy Breeze there in P3, Mix Fositas in P4. Very well done by the Renault driver, as we will see our current position changes after stops. That is 9 for Mix Fositas, 8 for Easy Breeze. Those are our biggest winners. Unfortunately, LDR Redeemer, who DNFs, is our biggest loser, in losing 13 places and finishing in dead last of 17th place. That is unfortunate for the Red Bull driver. Hopefully he will have a better showing next week at France. So we'll now take it back onto the tire data. We're now 7 laps into the 35 lap race. So I was almost right earlier when I said 34 laps. As I am now looking at Capta Hood in the chat, who says Money Hustard may have chosen the wrong strategy. We can only wait to see how the race plays out, but definitely going on those hard tires, it's going to be very hard. Hard and hard. Hard tires, making a hard strategy, making it a hard race. The Triple H, as I would call it. But we will see how he fares for the rest of this race, as we now just pray the safety car will come in this lap so we can get back to racing. see Grid is starting to back up quite massively here under safety car. Safety car is in. We see it pulling the pits right now. And TRC Platinum is off, getting a great head start from the rest of our drivers. Easy Breeze now attacking White Mike with all he has. White Mike almost losing it at the Wall of Champions. Easy Breeze might have a chance to make an overtake here at turn 1. He's going to dive down the inside of White Mike, and White Mike concedes his position, avoiding any unnecessary contact. That'll drop Toro Rosso driver down into P3, and here comes Max Fositas, looking to see if he can maybe get into this battle. He is only half a second back. We now have Ronan right behind. Don't get mad. Redeemer has officially left the session. Decided he has seen enough racing. But quite the battle going up here at the hairpin. Any Cyclone diving down the inside. Don't get mad diving it down the inside. Any Cyclone gets the move done. However, Don't Get Mad does not. We have quite the slipstream train leading its way into turn 13 and 14. See if anyone opts to take a little bit of dive. Everyone sits in. However, Don't Get Mad took a peek and lost a lot of time, realizing that was not the move to be had. However, George the Fraud got around Stoneman 1372, and now looks like Big Mr. Brown is going to take a little peek. He does not have anywhere to go. He is blocking up into the grass as Indian Cyclone and Mix Fositas are taking it downhill. Luckily, no one pulled a Seb. And as P4 for Mix Fositas and the Cyclone still sitting back behind them. 2 for 2 White Meat, diving it down the inside. That is a beautiful move done there by the Mercedes driver. Money Hustler now falling back into P7. Ronan side by side with Don't Get Mad going into turn 8. Taking a guess, he cuts the corner massively, but has to avoid contact. And that is now P8 for Ronan. Don't Get Mad dropping down in the 9th. Will he shove it down the inside? We have Money Hustler making contact with White Meat, who unfortunately leads to him making contact with Don't Get Mad. Definitely some front wings lost, but these drivers are going head to head and leaving it out all on the track. You love to see it. Some great, thrilling, and exciting racing, as it looks like Indy Cyclone has now gotten the move done on Mix Fositas, so promoting him into P4. 2 for 2 White Meat now. DRS not engaged, and no room to be had at turn number 1. Ronan, wing still intact, is taking his own peek at these battles going ahead. I say it every week, and I will say it again, Ronan is one of our most aggressive drivers, and if he has a chance to make a move, he will go for it. But White Meat now right on the gearbox of that Renault of Mix Fositas, with both with DRS enabled. He will not have enough time to make a move. He's going to have to cut the corner after braking way too late. See if he makes a move at the hairpin. He does not. Looks like he's going to wait for the straight, get DRS, and then maybe see if he can just pass him down the straight before the chicane of turn 13 and 14. He's already gaining massively here on the Renault driver. He's got the outside line. They are now side by side going into turn 13. And Mix Fositas unfortunately clips him just a little bit. That might just be a racing incident in my book, but Mix Fositas. Oh, and he takes out his teammate of Sprightly as he thought he had enough time to put it on back to the circuit. And that is horrible for the Banana Boat boys. It's terrible. I feel so bad for the Renault drivers. Sprightly was already having an off race tonight, and now his own teammate took him out. That is very unfortunate for them. But here we go. Back to the action. George the Fraud in P8 now. Looking at the hospital. Don't Get Mad in 7th. He's looking very pacey on those mediums. Looks like George and Big Mr. Brown. Oh no, Big Mr. Brown, where are you going? You need to go straight. Don't take a left when it's a straight. Most likely got a lot of oversteer, and that's why he threw himself on the wall. That's unfortunate from the McLaren driver up to his teammate of Indian Cyclone, who's now looking to pick off White Mike for P3. Qualifying on pole, pitting under the safety car, and doing very well here strategy-wise. As we'll go ahead and show you the stops as it stands so far, as Indian Cyclone easily is getting past White Mike, so it's dropping White Mike down to P4. So top two yet to pit, White Mike as well, but everyone else on the grid have already made one stop or two, as these gaps have now gotten pretty large. As we were just having some very close racing, as we'll probably just have to wait for the next round of our stops. And yes, the cap, White Mike, 11 laps in, 12 laps now on the softs, and he is still going strong. I have conversations with White Mike before every race, give him a little bit of advice that I can, but my advice was definitely not 12 laps on the softs, but if he can keep it going, he will definitely have an amazing second and third stint, unless he opts to throw on the hards and pull off a one stop. But we'll see how that goes for him. Maybe he goes softs to mediums, and that would be completely wild, but he's now losing a spot to Ronan, who looked to completely cut the corner. As I missed it trying to look at our YouTube chat for just a second. That's the Haas of Don't Get Mad, going very, very heavy in the braking zone, almost sending it into White Mike. Looks like Tazonic is gonna maybe get a little bit of a run here on George, but he didn't get the best exit out of the hairpin, so nothing doing there for him. However, George going right around Stoneman. Stoneman just kind of gave it up. Formerly known as Kush Daddy. And after the change of gamer tags, he's now Stoneman. And he is sitting in P9. Easy Breeze picking up a 3-second time penalty. Tazonic now looking at the Ferrari driver. Like I said earlier, Ferrari doesn't have a single point this season. They are the only team in any of our divisions to not have a point. This team desperately needs a point. I cannot stress it enough, and Taz is doing his own to make sure they get a point tonight. As White Mike is getting overtaken again by Don't Get Mad. Gotta say, he's gotta come to the pits. Jor the Fraud now getting him around him. He's losing a lot of time. I'm praying that he comes in the pits because he desperately needs to. Those softs are obliterated and possibly melting as we speak. But here comes Stoneman now on George, or TRC Platinum, I'm sorry, has pitted, and White Meat has DNF. Where can we pick him up at? That's a very odd spot to DNF. Was it at the hairpin? Oh, it was at the hairpin. As Stoneman picks up a drive-through penalty for speeding under safety car. And speaking of a White Mike, that might have helped him out. He's now pitting for the hards. He's going to come out in 8th place and go until the end, whereas everyone else in front of him will have to pit once more. This may be White Mike's first win if he can keep it up. We'll now await the safety car. Easy Breeze sitting in P1 on the hards, kind of in a bad spot being on the hards. He's got to go a little bit longer in the race to pit for mediums to go to the end, or he can maybe go mediums to softs, but not in prime position, even though he's currently sitting P1. But looking at the rest of our drivers, Platinum coming out in 7th after pitting, so he's going to be on fresh mediums. White Mike on fresh hards, Taz on fresh mediums. So White Mike looks to be the only driver that opted to go on the hards, go till the end of the race. 20 laps in on the mediums. It's going to be White the task, but we just saw White Mike do near 14 laps on the softs, as we see multiple guys getting 5-second penalties for speeding in pit lane or under safety car. Don't get mad into the pits. Front wing change for him. Ronan just boxing. There goes Stoneman putting on some fresh tires, putting on the mediums. This Don't Get Mad now exits the pits. That wing change hurt him for track position. Jord the Fraud now right behind them, exiting the pits. That's P7, 8, 9, and 10 for those drivers. Well, P11, I should say. Back to 10 for Jordan Friday. We'll see where he comes out. That is P10 for the Williams driver. Currently the only one in the points, as Chris, however you say that, has just joined. I have no idea how, but he has. So we're going to take it back up to the rest of our grid. And Easy Breeze right behind the AMG. That leads our safety car laps. So we are nearly halfway through the race. Indian Cyclone, who qualified on pole, is currently sitting P2. Easy Breeze P1, Platinum P3, White Mike in 4th, followed by Ronan, Stoneman, Tazonic, Money Hustler, Don't Get Mad, and Jord the Fraud. Rounding off our top 10. Currently 2 DNFs tonight of White Meat and LDR Redeemer. Both near the same spot on the track before the hairpin. A very odd spot to just shunt your car, but they found a way to do it, and they did it. So we now have 15 drivers remaining. Don't Get Mad is now entering the pit, so he's most likely going to drop to the back of the grid, if not either 13th or 14th place. So we now just await the safety car. Ooh. Indian Cyclone, 5-second penalty for exceeding track limits. And like I've said before, I have no idea how you cut the corners under safety car, but every week our drivers find a way to do so. That is definitely going to hurt Cyclone by the end of the race. Those 5 seconds will add up. And as we wait for the safety car, I will take another quick little water break so I don't die of dehydration, and we'll be right back after the restart. Don't Get Mad received a 10-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. I did not know that was possible at Canada, but he has done so. Oh, this is not good. This is not a good safety car restart. A lot of our drivers are backing up, and there we see it. All the time penalties that rack up from just barely touching people, but we are off racing. Indian Cyclone is already getting attacked by TRC Platinum. We're going to be back to some very close racing these next few laps. Platinum, no room to go for him. Ronan taking a peek. Platinum very wide. He's going to have to stay off the racing line and let all these guys go by him. And he's now dropping down into P7 as Tazonic gets by him. Ronan taking a peek at White Mike. And White Mike loses his end plate. That's unfortunate for him. He was looking to go till the end of the race, and he may have to very well pit once again. As Stoneman now in the Ferrari is right behind him. After struggling early in this race, falling back lots of positions, this safety car has helped him out, and he might very well take P4 from the Toro Rosso driver, who is struggling with wing damage. As they come through the hairpin, pushes, really giving his front wing a kiss to that gearbox. Look back at our timing screens. Bingham's Brown has fallen back all the way to last. Unfortunate for him. Doesn't look like there's going to be any moves made here. Stoneman, however, throwing it into the pits. Just 2 laps in on his mediums. He must have a drive-through penalty, which I may have already called out earlier and I just completely forgot about. So White Mike will stay in P4 for the time being, as everywhere from P4 down to P11 are just neck and neck with each other. Tazonic now gaining on White Mike. However, the top 3 getting really spicy up here on lap 19. Looks like McFossitas has just gone off. He may have just very well pulled the Vettel, but instead of putting it back on track, he sent it into the wall. Union Cyclone taking a dive on the inside of Easy Breeze. They make contact, and this is going to allow Ronan to take P1. Outstanding job, and he's only 3 laps in on the mediums. Ronan looking very, very well, as Union Cyclone is going to concede the place to Easy Breeze. A little sportsmanship, but I take that back, and Easy Breeze is now taking out Ronan. Ronan was looking very promising, and he's now taking out the braking board, trying to hop back into the pits. Stoneman and McFossitas going side by side. Tazonic now getting past White Mike. That's very unfortunate for Ronan. He had just gained P1. He had the optimal strategy for the end of the race, and Easy Breeze may have just broken himself. We will leave that for the stewards reports post-race. That's very unfortunate for them. We still have a lot of close battles going on. Platinum looking at the outside of White Mike. White Mike doing very well to close off that space, but it might not be enough, as Platinum is all on that gearbox. Taking a peek down the inside as Money Hustard is going on the outside, and Money Hustard actually gets a spot over Platinum. We got some thrilling racing here tonight. This now looks like Money Hustard definitely has room to make a move. White Mike concedes his place, and unfortunately doing so, he's allowed Platinum to pick up enough time and potentially get this move done, as Jord the Fraud now is getting overtaken by Marlin. Marlin makes a little bit of contact with White Mike, and so does Jord the Fraud. These guys are getting very close, but way to keep it on track. Hard racing, but clean racing, and that is what we love to see here at PPR. As Jord the Fraud now might be looking to make a move on the Toro Rosso driver of White Mike, as Platinum has picked up a 3-second time penalty. Here we go with Jord the Fraud. White Mike closing off the space, maybe a little too much, but I don't think there's any wing damage there. And Jord the Fraud is still side by side with the Toro Rosso driver, who is leaving barely enough space, but that is all he needs to, as that's now allowed Marlon Conga to get down the inside of the Williams driver, as they are literally wheel to wheel. And White Mike might find himself at the short end of the stick right here. Hopefully no one makes contact. They don't, but Marlon Conga, for cutting that corner, does pick up a time penalty. Jord the Fraud, presumably just a warning, as George is diving down the inside of Marlin, and Marlin will now drop down to 8th place. So the Williams drivers, after having a horrible qualifying session, are getting this teamwork done here in the race. We are now 22 laps in, and they are sitting 6th and 7th respectively, as some of these gaps are starting to get a little bit larger, as Platinum is still looking at the gearbox of Money Hustard, as Cuddy does not want to give me a good camera, and Platinum is definitely outbraking himself there. There you go, George the Fraud makes the move down before the straight. That will drop. Oh, but he does pick up a 3-second time penalty. And there's some wing damage. Can't tell what car that was from. And George will fly it down the outside. White Mike losing every bit of his car. And he just had to maneuver himself back on the track without killing the rest of our grid. So he will stay in P5 and picks up a 3-second time penalty for that corner, that egregious corner cut. And George will still have to find a way to make this move, as it looks like he might. They make a little bit of contact, even more, but White Mike, nothing doing for him. And now Marlin is looking to get in on this. As it has to be said that Tazonic, who at one point in this race was last place, is now P1, and Marlin completely outbraking himself. Look at that tire. Who doesn't love to look at a tire? Thank you, Cody's. What would I do without that camera angle? But George has now gotten around White Mike, and he's now P6. The next aggressive driver may be Marlin Conga in the Racing Point. And Big Mr. Brown sitting in P8 as we are joined by Dodge Freak. That's a stellar name, my friend. Big Mr. Brown now it's looking like he might want to get in on this action. As we see multiple time penalties flying across the screen. Big Mr. Brown is now falling back from these guys. Marlon Conga, however, still picking up time on White Mike for P6. Once again, we will take a quick look at the stops so far, and then the position changes. And you see it by both Williams drivers. 10 places gained. Very well done by them. Money Hustler and Platinum staying in their same qualifying positions, and Tazonic up 9 spots. So far, my driver of the day will go to Tazonic. If he can keep it just like this, we'll throw it back down to the tire wear. Big Mr. Brown is still trying to find some way to get around the Racing Point of Marlon Conga. But with 10 laps remaining, it's going to be interesting to see who can keep their tires alive for the remainder of the race. Money Hustler's already 14 laps in on his hards. Taz, Platinum, George, 10 laps in on the mediums. They're going to stretch those out for what looks to be 20 laps. Definitely something you can do on the mediums, but not something you want to do. The tire wear shouldn't be too bad to where they might have to worry about a puncture. The remaining probably 3 laps of the race will definitely be pretty hard for them, as they're going to lose almost all the grip on those tires. But here comes Big Mr. Brown, still trying his best to make a move here on Marlon Conga. He's been gaining half a tenth to a tenth a lap, getting all that sucked from the slipstream he can get, but yet to really gain any room to make a move. As Marlon is, I actually might very well get this move done on White Mike, as he got a lot of oversteer, and he's going to dive down the inside and make the move. And Big Mr. Brown is now going to be looking at the Red Bull driver of White Mike, as George 1997 unfortunately has left the session. We're going to see if we can send him a quick invite to the game. May have just gotten disconnected for a second. Platinum, as I was talking about pit strategies, Platinum opting to go into the pits and hopping on the soft tires to go till the end. See how that fares for him. Looks like George is still in his car. Because Don't Get Mad has left the session after retiring. That is unfortunate for him and the Haas team. We might get a little bit of battle between the Jords here. One thing I have to say is just don't take each other out. We don't need A-Mag and Roman Grosjean incident here. Or Seb and Charles at Brazil last year. But that looks like that's going to be a move done. Or not, as George gets a horrible exit after the overtake, and they are now going side by side. The Williams drivers not caring that all this battling is going to allow the drivers behind them to pick up the gap. As George the Fraud is now back into P3 and George 1997 is back into P4. And these guys don't care that their teammates, they care about that podium spot and bragging rights after the race. We'll see if this comes to hurt them these coming laps, because Marlon Conga is already gaining, but George still has an X next to his name, but he's definitely not racing like he's an AI driver at all. He's definitely keeping up the pace. Big Mr. Brown still on the charge here. As Bottas picking up a 3-second time penalty. Has nothing doing there, but Big Mr. Brown had his chance and just not enough room, so he will still be in P7. But shout out to Stoneman, who, by the way, this is his home Grand Prix, and he might very well pick up Ferrari their first points of the season, as TRC Platinum goes fastest with a 110.3. He's currently sitting P12, and that pit stop may very well have ruined his race. But here goes Big Mr. Brown. If that's a teammate Marduk corner cut right there, he completely ignored track limits. As White Mike leaves only the little bit of space he can, but that's not enough, as unfortunately that wing damage he picked up right after the safety car has resulted in him not having any pace. But he has gotten the move back on Big Mr. Brown, who outbroke himself. So Big Mr. Brown is looking, oh, they touched just a little bit. That was very close. Looks like White Mike, who has DRS, is going to keep the position. Big Mr. Brown once again completely ignoring track limits and picking up a 3-second time penalty. But he's now diving down the inside of White Mike. Once again, is just leaving enough space. And there goes Stoneman, P9, Ronan, P8, and he just gave Big Mr. Brown the elbows out, and Big Mr. Brown is now sending himself nearly into the shadow realm. But luckily keeping it on track, and he's already lost another spot to Easy Breeze, as there is a yellow flag, but no drivers off. So I'm assuming everyone is safe. Here comes Ronan. He's now looking to come up on the charge. He's already on the back of Stoneman, who's going to defend on the outside and give up the inside of the hairpin. And Ronan takes it, and very well done by him. That is the move done for him, and it doesn't look like Stoneman's going to be able to get him back down the straight. So Ronan's next victim looks to be his sister team driver of White Mike, who he may or may not have given wing damage to earlier in the race. But yes, Capita Hood, hot damn Kush. Who would have thought Kush would be P8 right now in the race, but he's looking very well. Big Mr. Brown has pitted. Ronan taking a dive, and he gets the move done, even though he completely cut the entire corner. That is the move done there for Ronan. He is now P6. He's almost 5.5 seconds back from Marlon. So I don't know if he's going to have enough space. What is going on in the back? Indian Cyclone looks like he's going to try to get around Easy Breeze. We're going to have the ultimate slipstream fest going on these final few laps, as this is going to be a hectic battle till the end of the race. Platinum now has put Indian Cyclone out of the points. Marlon has picked up a 3-second time penalty. See if any other drivers go for a move. None of them do. There's McFazitas sitting very lonely in the 101 control. But back to Indian Cyclone, braking very early, as we see Platinum braking almost as late as possible. You can see the difference there in their braking zones. And we have a safety car for, I presume, for Sprightly. He might be able to pick him up right there. So I believe this is turn number, let me get it right. I'm going to pull up my track map for you guys so I don't get that turn wrong. That is turn number 8. For some reason, turn 8 and 9 have been claiming the lives of 3 out of our 4 DNF drivers. And we now have a safety car out on, presumably we're only going to get 1 lap left of racing. If not, we're going to finish under the safety car. And drivers with time penalties, this might shake up the grid completely. I really hope no one comes into the pits, but Tazonic might pick up the race win. I don't know if we're going to be able to finish the race not under safety car. And Stoneman picks up a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Why is he pitting? Stoneman might have just taken himself out of the points. I don't think we're going to get another lap. We might get 1 lap before the end of the race. But yeah, Stoneman pitting, that's very odd. Easy Breeze as well. McFazitas also pitting. But that's Tazonic P1, Money Hustler P2, and Jord the Fraud in P3. I mean, if you want to talk about a great race, this Williams team has done an absolutely fantastic job. We got 1 on the podium, and Jord's right behind them. A safety car. Whoa, thank you, Cody's. As we're going to get at least 2 more laps. As safety car is in this lap. And Stoneman has picked up a 10-second time penalty, so any chance at the points might have gone out the window. But Tazonic now is going to be battling with Money Hustard George's 1997 for the race victory. Let's see how this shapes out these final few laps. Tazonic getting a horrible start. And here comes Money Hustard looking to pick up the race win. Can he get the move done here at turn number 1? He cannot. George the Fraud right behind them, as well as George 1997. This is going to be the battle for the race win and for the podium spots. Luckily for the Williams team, they do have George 1997 in P4, who can hold off some positions. White Mike has dropped back to P9, only getting off on track. But Tazonic almost pulling out a 2nd gap now on Money Hustard. He might very well be able to take out this lead and make it last till the end of the race, barring what our time penalties have to say. He could very well be our race winner, as the Williams drivers may be looking to get a double podium tonight, but to do so they have to get past Money Hustard. And Marlon Conga, his teammate, is sitting very closely behind them, as well as Ronan. who at one point in this race was P1 himself. Here we go, 2 laps remaining here for Xbox Division 2 at Canada. We've had some thrilling racing so far tonight. Mixfatitas has retired at the hairpin. And this is the last lap of the race. I was lying when I said 2 left. This is the final lap. See if there is anything to be had. And also, as we said, that time penalties are definitely going to change our grid massively at the end of the race, especially since we had a safety car come out 3 laps before the end of the race. So any drivers with a lot of time penalties are definitely going to be hurting at the end of the race and maybe slowly crying. Oh, his Ronin has gone off very deep in the braking zone at the hairpin. That's allowed Indian Cyclone to get very close to him. See if he can make any moves. I don't think he can. Nothing going for the top 3. Tazonic, however, picking up a 3-second time penalty at the very last turn. That might have just ruined his race. It did. That allows Money Hustard P2, Jord the Fraud P3, George 1997 P4, Indian Cyclone. TRC, oh, White Mike. I take that back. White Mike after penalties P6, TRC Platinum P7, Ronin P8, Marlin P9. Stoneman picking up 1 point for the Ferrari team in P10. Followed by, I did not pick up who that was, in 11th. Oh, but you gotta feel for Tazonic. The very last turn, and he picks up a time penalty that lost him the race win. On the last turn. Oh man, I am hurting for Tazonic. But also, shout out to the Racing Point driver of Money Hustard for the race victory. That was a very exciting race, and we will see if we can get these guys into the party real quick. And we are joined by race winner Money Hustard. We're just now waiting for Tazonic and Jor the Fraud to join. But we'll just get it going now. Money Hustard, didn't look like you were going to get the race victory. Tazonic, I think we all assumed was going to, but picked up a 3-second time penalty on the last turn, and you ended up with the race win. So how does it feel after what was a very chaotic Canadian Grand Prix?
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. I dropped down to P17 at one point. I felt really good on the first couple laps. I was in P2 on the mediums. I was setting myself up nicely, and the first safety car came in at like lap 9? No, lap 8 or something. And I went to hards, and I was just seeing if I could make the end on those hards. And then we started going. I'm really slow compared to everyone else around me. Was on mediums. And then I started getting bumped around a little bit. I got a lime green front right wing. And then some guys that were fighting, and I think they broke really early into the hairpin maybe. Or maybe I didn't think I broke right. I tapped the front end of, I think, Jord, and then Ronan came on my inside. I was like, damn, this is gonna shit. And I had orange wing, so I did another lap. I came in for hards on lap. I had been lap like 13. And I was like, I'm just gonna stay out to the end. And then Taz had really good pace on his mediums, and I thought he was gonna just pull ahead. At first, I thought he was gonna pit again, so I was like, alright, this is great. Like, he's gonna pit again, and I'll have it. And then he didn't pit, and there was like 4 laps to go, 5 laps to go. Like, he's not pitting now. And he had a 5-second gap on me, but I had a good gap to Joy the Fraud, so I felt pretty good about P2. And that last safety car came out, and I was like, crap. I have 3 seconds of penalties. Like, what do people around me have? A lot of worn hards. So I just stayed out. It ended up working out. Sorry for Taz, man. I know you hate Canada, but
yeah,
at least you got the P2. At least you got the P2, Taz.
And I'm gonna pick on Taz now. Taz, you had the race victory in hand. It was right there, and you cut the very last turn. How's it feel to throw away your own race? But still, congrats, P2. I mean, you made a lot of spots. Definitely my driver of the day. You did a great job. I'm just kind of. Yeah, that's the first time I've seen it as well. Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, still P2, nothing to look down on. Definitely hurts that that happened on the final turn, but still, congrats to you. And then George the Fraud, I have to say, you and George, um, starting, I believe you guys were 14th and 15th or 15th and 16th at the start of the race, coming up all the way through to finish third and fourth. That is a great job by you guys and very well done. How's it feel to get the podium? Yeah. Yeah, and we had that on stream too, and I was like, just don't. I was like, we don't need a K Mag and Grosjean, we don't need a Seb and Charles. Like, just you guys were doing great. I mean, hats off to you guys for finishing third and fourth for the Williams team. And shout out to you, Money, for the win. Taz P2. We're gonna go ahead and end the stream tonight, so I can get off to the Division One race, and we will see you guys
Race.
next week at
Good luck.
Toronto.